Shoot your arrows! Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. Robert Woods, touchdown! LA! Goff goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. Picked off. Marcus Peters coming off the edge. And Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Everett in stride! Wow!
Franklin Myers gets his hand down there.
Little got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did! Racing down the sideline is Akeem Talib. Gurley for MVP! Touchdown LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Well, Dante Fowler, who is able to get to Breeze. Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl! LA will play for the Lombardi!
2, 1. Joining the podcast, we have Boston College linebacker Connor Strachan. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Of course, it's going well.
Awesome. We're so excited to talk to you. And just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
So I came kind of from a bit of a football family. My older brother played. My dad played in college. My uncle played in the NFL. So a lot of just kind of fell into it naturally when I was younger by watching football with the family. It started early. It started in Pop Warner in 3rd grade. The middle school I went to ended up having a football team, so I played there, took it on into high school, and then the rest is history. So it's been a long time for sure.
Yeah, and growing up watching football, who was your favorite player?
Growing up outside of Boston, I was a Patriot fan, so I really liked watching Teddy Bruschi and Mike Vrabel, Tom Brady in his early years there. I mean, he's unbelievable to watch still now, but that was definitely guys I was looking up to.
Yeah, for sure. Those are all very talented players. And, as you mentioned, you played football growing up, and then when it came time for you to play in college, you ultimately ended up playing at Boston College. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
I got recruited by most of the ACC and a couple of Midwest schools, but my uncle actually played at BC. My dad's one at 10, and so I got 42 cousins all in the area. It just kind of was. It was pretty simple just to be around here, be around all my family. They can all get to the games, have family go there, so. It wasn't that hard of a decision for me, and it's good. It was important for me, to get a good degree too, and you get that with BC.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Just that, going to Boston College. I mean, I've talked with quite a few of your teammates. One of them being Will Harris at the Senior Bowl. So I just want to ask, what was it like to play with those guys? I mean, we spoke with Wyatt Ray. I mean, he's awesome. We obviously have seen Hamp and Lucas on film, but I mean, what was it like to play on the defense? Because I feel like. You guys are you have something brewing that's about to just only get better and bigger as, the years go on.
Yeah, I mean, playing defense at BC, my last few years has been awesome. It really started with Don Brown when he came in my freshman year. He was the D coordinator for my sophomore year. He had this defense where we would just blitz every down. Guys were getting sacks all the time. My sophomore year, we had the number 1 defense in the country. So, I mean, it's been fun. And then we came in, after that, we had Coach Pasqualoni, who's unbelievable. In my past season, we had Anthony Campanelli and Coach Sheridan. We've always had really good coaching, and playing with guys like that, the ones you mentioned, like Wyatt, Will, Hamp, they're just reliable teammates. So, when you're going in trying to make plays and stuff, they got your back. They know they're going to be in the spot they're supposed to be in. It just makes playing a lot more fun. In other programs, you guys going rogue and, putting up holes in the defense and stuff. But with those guys you mentioned, my teammates that I've been with, it really lets you play free because all the gaps are going to be covered. Guys are going to be where they should be. It's exciting. You build off each other with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as Jake mentioned, it just seemed like you guys had something really, really special and at Boston College, and something that's just only going to continue to get better for sure. So it's been fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to continue to watch for sure. But, I'm sure that you had a lot of favorite moments or favorite plays or favorite games during your college career. But are there any that stand out to you as being your favorite?
Recently, Virginia Tech this past year, my junior year, we had a tough loss against them down there, and then I didn't get to play them my senior year. So this past year, my 5th year of playing against them, beating them, that was a really good feeling. I've been wanting to get back at them for a while. So that was a big win for me. Before that, one of the first games I ever played in was my freshman year. We beat USC. They were ranked number 9th, I think, at the time. We played in Ireland against Georgia Tech. We've played in Yankee Stadium twice, played in Fenway Park. I've really had an awesome experience there. It's hard to pick out one, but, there's been some great games for sure.
I'll just follow up on it. What's it like to play at, a place like Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park?
Incredible. It was incredible. Playing at Fenway Park was a surreal experience for me. I liked Yankee Stadium a lot, but, growing up a Sox fan, that was wild. Definitely wild for me.
Oh, absolutely. I can only imagine. And, as Jake mentioned earlier, all the talented guys that you played with at Boston College, you also went up against a lot of tough competition during your college career. Were there any guys who stand out to you as being the toughest guys that you went up against in college?
For sure. I had to play Lamar Jackson for a few years, and he was probably the best athlete I've ever played against. Played against Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson. Played against Heisman Trophy winners. Every year we play Clemson. We're playing, a ton of great kids, especially this past year. We played them. We were both ranked. It was college game day. They had a stacked team. But yeah, one kid sticking out. I think the toughest kid I probably played was Lamar. Just the way he moved, trying to tackle him. It's no slight challenge.
Oh, I can imagine. Lamar Jackson was my top quarterback coming out of the draft last year, and I cannot imagine having to track him down. He never ran his 40 times, so we don't really know how fast he can actually be. But I'd imagine it was in the 4.2s, and it definitely shows up on film. With that being said, I want to ask, how was your pro day? Obviously it must be cool because you must have had a full house there. There's a lot of BC guys that are, moving on to the next level and will play, such as yourself, that will play, significant roles on an NFL roster.
Yeah, pro day was great. It was packed for sure. Since then, from the pro day, I've had a ton of teams working me out, just from all the exposure we've gotten, and all the guys that are this year coming, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We had a ton of guys that have a chance to get drafted, and a ton of guys who will just straight up end up playing. But yeah, our pro day was great. Great showing. It was fun. It was fun to be around those guys again. And since then, most of the guys I've been working out with at school and stuff, so it's good just to be back together again.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, is there anyone that or maybe a couple guys who you've modeled your game after or tried to take elements of their game and mimic them into your own?
Yeah, when I first came into BC, a lot of the tape I was watching was Luke Kuechly's tape. He had just come out a couple of years before, and, obviously everyone knows the type of player he is, but looking at tape when I was coming in, it was like, okay, this guy's doing everything right, just trying to figure out how he does it and see if I can do a little bit of that.
Yeah, he's another level, man. Oh yeah, they don't make many of them like him, so that's definitely a good player to model yourself after. But with that being said, you're a linebacker in this draft. I want to know what you bring to the table that no one else in this draft at linebacker brings.
I think that being a linebacker in this draft, I'm a really versatile player. When I was down at the Jaguars, flew me down there and talked to me about if I'd be okay playing, a goal line fullback in situations. I mean, talk about special teams, talk about everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm a smart kid who knows football really well. So, defensively, I'm going to put the scheme together perfectly. And then I like the fact that I get to play all over the field. At BC, I had the chance to play all the special teams. They didn't let me, play pump block or kickoff return this past year, but had they, it would have. But yeah, I mean, I'm a versatile player, trustworthy player for sure. I like being there with my team. It's a guy that you can rely on. Oh yeah, he'll be there. He'll make the play, for sure.
That's awesome. Is that what you would consider your biggest strength as a player to be, or what? If not, what would you consider your biggest strength to be?
I think my football IQ would be my biggest strength at this point. I've always been quick inside the tackle box. I'm a good tackler, but lately in the past year and a half, my knowledge for the game is completely changed, and I can only attribute that to having been lucky to have such great coaches.
Yeah, I love that. Kind of coming into the next level, what is one area in your game that you're really trying to, work to improve on?
On a fundamental standpoint, I'm really working on my strike, my hands. A lot of the linemen you're going to be going against in the NFL are just a whole different caliber than in college. College, you can get away with different things. You might be a little out of position when you're hitting someone, and you can, just out-athlete them or make it happen. But so fundamentally, that's what I've been really concerned about and working on. And then the mental side of the game, I mean, just studying tape and making sure that I'm on point and ready to go into any system. It's important because when you get into these mini camp coming up and fall camp, you don't have too many opportunities. You can't really make that many mistakes.
Yeah, and this next question is just kind of a fun one we like to ask just because we're always curious what the answer is going to be from these defensive guys. But what quarterback would you most want to sack in the NFL?
Oh, God, that'd be tough. But I think being able to say, I mean, my first choice would be to play for the Patriots, but being able to say that I sacked Tom Brady would be pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, we definitely get that a lot. I kind of want to, follow up on that. And you talk about sacking somebody, but you also do your fair share of covering guys as a linebacker. So who do you most want to cover in the NFL?
Oh, this past year, one of my friends from BC who plays for the Bills was covering Rob Gronkowski, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then, this year he said he was retiring, so that was tough for me. But, since then, I think the toughest guy that I've really been watching is the kid from the Saints, Alvin Kamara. I think he's incredibly elusive, and that'd be a really fun challenge to be playing against him.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably would be, fun, but also challenging for sure. Mm-hmm. But we are a Los Angeles Rams podcast, so we ask every prospect that comes on our show, have you talked or met with the Los Angeles Rams yet?
No, I haven't. I've talked with probably about 15, 16 teams. Haven't talked with the Rams much. We do have a BC guy there, John. He's been talking to me a bunch about it, but I don't know. We'll see if they get in contact in these next few weeks.
For sure. Yeah, we, Jake and I would obviously love to see you go to the Rams, but we're going to be fans of you no matter where you go because, we're just fans of your game. We've loved talking to you. We think you're going to do big things at the NFL level, and we're just so excited for you. And I know that the draft is, I think, about a little under 2 weeks away now. So it's coming up, and we know that it's probably a busy time for you and you've got a lot going on, but we really appreciate you coming on to talk to us. It means a lot. And to just, wrap it up, we just kind of want to hear in your own words, who is Connor Strachan as a player and who is he as a person?
I mean, as a player, I'm tough, physical, old school football player. I play with speed like you have to now, but I definitely think that I respect the game to, play that old hard hitting way. As a person, we like to say BC men, I'm BC guy. I'm trying to do the right thing and enjoy playing football while I do it.
I love it, man. You know, it's been fun having you on. You BC guys give good interviews, so
That's good to hear.
absolutely, man. You know, it's been a pleasure having you on. We're glad you came on. It's fun to get to know you a little bit, and man, best of luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy, and let's keep in touch, man.
Absolutely appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys, joining the show, we have Boise State linebacker Durrant Miles. How's it going, Durrant? Thanks so much for coming on.
Good. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Of course. And just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
All right. Well, I'll take you back to when I was about 8 years old. Me and my buddies, growing up in South Jordan, Utah. You know, it was something that we always looked forward to, is being able to finally turn the age of being eligible for contact football. And sure enough, as soon as we turned 8, we were signed up, ready to go. I remember it like it was yesterday, actually, just practicing in the big baseball fields and trying out. And I made the A team with my buddies, and the rest is history. I haven't stopped playing since.
That's awesome, man. And growing up, did you have a favorite player you looked up to?
Yeah, I had a favorite player. My dad, he's a big Indianapolis Colts fan. So I grew up, and, you know, being a defensive lineman, I always watched Dwight Freeney, and, you know, I kind of, as a kid, I idolized him. He was one of my role models as far as football went. So, yeah, I would say him.
Yeah, and, you know, when it came time for you to play in college, you ended up playing for Boise State. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
The main factor for me to choose Boise State was, well, originally coming out of high school, I was recruited by Coach Chris Peterson. I graduated in 2013, and then I served a 2-year LDS mission. And so right out of high school, I went and lived in Bolivia for 2 years and just kind of preached the gospel and whatnot. And during my 2 years down there, Coach Peterson left, went to Washington, and he offered me up at Washington as well, but I had never been up there at the time, and I didn't know much about, you know, the University of Washington or their football team. I knew I loved Coach Pete, but I kind of felt, you know, committed and loyal to Boise State and my commitment there. So I chose to ride it out. And when I got back from my mission, they were waiting for me with the scholarship, and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's a big story there, you know, Bolivia. I mean, that's crazy. You know, I don't think anyone else can say that in this draft. So, you know, you got a cool story for sure. But you know, what was your favorite moment, you know, playing at Boise State?
Oh, wow. That's a really tough question. I had, you know, so many memorable nights and moments through my tenure at Boise. I think, you know, probably first and foremost is just the brotherhood, the camaraderie that I made with, you know, all my buddies. But on the field, my favorite memory would be probably not this past season, but the season prior to. So my junior year, when we played Colorado State at Colorado, and they just barely got a brand new stadium, and they were hyped to play us. They had brand new jerseys that they were bringing out against us, and it was a pretty hyped up game. And anyways, it went into triple overtime, and we won in triple overtime. And we were down at one point big, like by 20 some odd points. And I just remember that comeback feeling, and, you know, that was a great moment for me personally, and just to see our team accomplish that. And I would say along with that, to finish that year, we, you know, went on and won the Mountain West Conference title. And that was an awesome experience to be on the blue at home and, you know, bring the title back to Boise. So I would say those are some of my most fond memories of Boise State.
Yeah, that's awesome for sure. And, you know, you played against a lot of tough competition during your time at Boise State, but is there one guy or maybe a couple guys who stand out to you as being the toughest guys that you went up against?
Yeah, I played. So Josh Allen, for the quarterback, Josh Allen, who plays currently for the Bills. I remember he was extremely hard to tackle. He's a big physical quarterback, which you wouldn't think. The quarterback is so, elusive and physical, but he was a great competitor, and he brought the best out of our defense. And I think I would have to say him. And then probably on the offensive line side, Austin Corbett from Nevada. I played him my junior year too, and kind of funny story. He's related to me. He's my wife's cousin's husband, so we're kind of related, I guess you could say. But he plays for the Browns right now. So, anyways, he was really good too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are definitely two names. I saw both of them. I actually met Josh at the Senior Bowl when he won the most outstanding player award after the game. I got to meet with him, but him and Austin both had great Senior Bowl weeks, so I definitely know what you mean. I mean, they definitely are tough players. With that being said, you have a bunch of guys that came from either your team right now. I mean, we talked to Jabril Frazier this week. You had, obviously, LVE was there. What was it like to play with those type of guys on this defense?
Leighton, he was a great leader. Like last year, obviously on the field, he was an animal, flying around, making tackles and whatnot. But, off the field as well, like he was the kind of guy that would really take ownership of stuff and kind of lead the way for the younger classmen. And I would say the same for Jabril. He's a great guy off the field as well.
Yeah, and something I want to touch a little bit about is your pro day. How was that?
Oh, pro day was awesome. It was, it's kind of a surreal moment for me going into pro day. It was just like, I've been dreaming about this, like I said, ever since I was 8 years old, starting football and stuff and having these aspirations to be able to get picked up in the NFL draft and make a team and, contribute and whatnot. And anyways, just like pro day it was such a great feeling. I was so happy, and, being able to put up the numbers that I did, with my bench press, my vert, my broad jump, all my times, my 40 time, my pro agility, and my 3-cone being, what would be like top 5 in some of those categories was just awesome. Like being able to see the hard work really pay off. It was an amazing moment, to say the least.
Yeah, that's awesome. Pro day is huge. I mean, it's kind of, like your send-off. You get a last opportunity to, to basically hit that field one more time with your teammates. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm glad you made the most of it. But is there anyone, and there might not be anyone, but if there is anyone that, applies to this question, who have you modeled your game after?
I think I take different aspects from different players. I wouldn't say that I've molded my game after one specific player, but I think just learning and trying to incorporate different aspects of people's game is something that's vital, especially like as a pass rusher and a run stopper. I think it's something that is super important, and just to be able to see like a broad spectrum. So I would say that I'll try and take notes from everybody, but not specifically one person.
Yeah, and in your opinion, what do you bring to the table that no other linebacker in this draft brings?
I would say my versatility and my physicality. I think here at Boise State, I've played anywhere from outside linebacker, dropping into hook coverage, underneath zones, to having man responsibility on running backs and stuff, as well as, being inside with my hand down as a 3 technique, trying to pass rush, and anywhere in between. I honestly have lined up as middle backer, outside, inside, hand up, hand down. Like, I'm really willing to do it all. And I think that, my tape here at Boise State really shows that. And, I hope to be able to do the same at the next level, wherever team sees fit to put me, I'm more than happy to be able to jump in there and adapt. And especially like with my size and stuff, I think, I have great capabilities.
Yeah, and Durrant, what would you say is your biggest strength as a player?
Like I said, I probably my versatility, and I guess off the field, I would say just my dedication. Like, people don't realize, a lot of these guys, what they do off the field affects them on the field. But I'm the kind of guy that, Friday night, Saturday night, I'm hanging out with my wife. We're, making meal prep. We're, doing the extra work, watching film on the weekends, like stuff like that. And I think that really is the separation between, me and any other kid that might be in the draft. I think, just dedication to it and really the love for the game.
Yeah, and as the draft approaches, is there anything that you're looking to improve on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm always looking to improve my game. I think there's tons of aspects that, I can continue to work on. I've been working on my explosiveness. I've been working on my speed. I've been working on, agility and handwork, because that's super important as a defensive lineman. And I think, when camp rolls around and when the season comes around, I think that my hard work will definitely show off on the field.
Yeah, of course. And, kind of a fun question here. Who do you most want to sack in the NFL?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. I mean, I think that whatever team I'm playing against, that's who I want to sack the most. So we'll see what team I end up on in game one. The quarterback that I'm lining up against, that's who I want to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that answer. And, we are a Los Angeles Rams-based podcast, so we ask every prospect that comes on our show, have you met or spoken with the Los Angeles Rams?
Yeah. I've had an interview with them at College Gridiron Series Bowl, and I've been able to speak with them. So fingers crossed.
Right. Well, we love to hear that you spoke to them because, we're big fans of you and love your game, and would love to see you end up a Los Angeles Ram. But no matter where you go, we're going to be cheering you on and following your career for sure, because we think you're going to do big things. And, just to wrap it up in your own words, who is Durrant Miles as a player, and who is he as a person?
As a player, I'm a versatile, physical, athletic specimen. And as a player, or as a person, I'm a great guy, dedicated and full of love for the game. So I think all around, I'm a safe bet for any team to pick me up.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's been fun, getting to speak with you, and you have a cool story, and you're a workhorse type of guy, and no matter what team you go to, we'll be pulling for you. So really appreciate you coming on, and let's stay in touch, man.
All right, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, Durrant.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, joining us on the show, we have Pittsburgh defensive lineman Shane Roy. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. It's going really good.
That's awesome. And just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
So I come from a soccer family for the most part, so it was a struggle trying to get my parents to let me play football. I ended up compromising with them in junior high and playing both in the fall. And then, as I grew and got bigger and stuff, it kind of just became clear that I was more of a football player. And by the time high school came around, I figured I was pretty decent at it and have a chance to play at the collegiate level.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, growing up, who was your favorite football player that you looked up to?
I'd say probably J.J. Watt, just the way he carried himself on and off the field. And he was a pretty big, beast back in the day. So it was fun watching him at Wisconsin and then carrying his career and stuff into the NFL.
Yeah, and you played your collegiate football career at Pittsburgh. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
I visited a lot of different schools coming out of high school and stuff, and then, I came to Pittsburgh. It was actually the last visit I took, and, I got around the players, got around the coaches, and then I just really enjoyed, being in the city. And, another big factor was me that was, pretty close to home, so my parents were able to come to all the, home games and stuff, so that was a big factor in choosing it, too.
Yeah, what was your favorite memory, from playing in college?
I'd have to say beating Clemson the year they won the national championship. I think it was 3 years ago. It was just crazy being in Death Valley and stuff. And I didn't get a ton of playing time. I think I only got like 15 snaps. I was just a redshirt sophomore then. But, just being in that state and being in that environment. And it came down to a clutch field goal by our kicker, Chris Blewett, and stuff. And, buzzer beater kick. And then, just to hear that, the enormous crowd just go silent was just something special.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you played against a lot of tough competition during your time at Pittsburgh. Who was the toughest guy you went up against?
That's a good question. The Clemson O-line this year we played in the ACC championship was probably the best O-line we've played this whole season. I mean, they were just sound, and then they came out from the very beginning. They kept the same just intensity throughout the entire game. So it was definitely a good challenge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I just got to ask you, what is your biggest strength as a player? When you look at your game, what stands out the most, as far as strength's concerned?
Me as a player, I'm more of a technician. I'm not, the most athletic player out there, but, through the coaches I've had over the past 5 years and stuff, I've been able to develop, my skill set and, just the fundamentals of playing defensive tackle. And, it breaks down to the small stuff like your stance and your footwork. And, my most recent coach, Coach Partridge, who actually coached J.J. Watt at Wisconsin, really helped me narrow down like all the small details of every single play and every snap. And just being able to hone, just the little things and, making sure that, I'm just sound on every single thing I do helps me, get an edge on the other players.
Yeah, and, as the draft approaches, what is an area that you're looking to improve on?
I would say probably just my knowledge of the game and stuff. This past year, I definitely tried to take that to another level, just learning offensive formation, schemes and stuff like that. I've always had some knowledge of it, but, I think I definitely need to develop a little more to be successful at the NFL level.
Yeah, of course. And, something we like to ask, every player that comes on here based on your position. As a defensive lineman, what do you bring to the table that no other defensive lineman brings?
I would say probably my knowledge of the game and stuff. And, I'm the, when you watch me on film, it just seems like I'm always in the right place at the right time. And that's not, by coincidence or by accident, because, I put the time in throughout the week and watch the film and break it down. So, when I see a formation that's familiar, I can break it down to, maybe three possible things that might happen on a play, whether it's, a run to my gap or a run away. And, that gives me the ability to maybe take chances where other players wouldn't know they can take a chance because, there's not a lot of threat in my gap or something like that. So I'd say the knowledge that I possess about the game of football is definitely gives me an edge.
Yeah, and this is just kind of a fun question we like to ask defensive guys who come on the show, but who's one quarterback that you like to sack in the NFL?
Wow. I'd have to say probably Tom Brady because he's one of my dad's favorite players, and I would love to see his face after I took him down.
And is there a player that comes out that stands out in your mind, being a defensive lineman that you want to go up against, like as far as like an offensive lineman? Is there anybody in the NFL that stands out that you really want to match yourself up against?
I saw Kelsey from the Eagles. He worked out at Pitt a couple of times. He's a very physical player, and I think that I really enjoyed watching him, just the way he plays football and stuff. And I'd really, I'd like to go up against him to see what it's like to go up against, one of the best linemen in the league. And I know a lot of the players have a lot of respect for him and stuff. So I was, to be on the same level as him and go head to head would be an extreme honor.
Yeah, and we are a Los Angeles Rams-based podcast, so we ask every prospect that comes on our show, have you met or spoken with the Los Angeles Rams?
Not very intimately. I saw one of the scouts at our pro day and stuff, and I talked to him a little bit, but I haven't get invited to a workout or anything. They haven't come up to visit me since, but I feel like I made a pretty good impression on the pro day with that scout.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking with anybody of the Rams is meeting with the Rams, regardless of if it's short or not. You're getting your name out there, and they're speaking with you. So it's always great, and we're glad to hear that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, who is Shane Roy as a person, and who is he as a player?
So there's definitely some crossover between the two. As a person and a player, I like to be where my feet are. Whatever I'm doing, I like to do it 100%, whether it's, in the film room, obviously, just paying attention 100%, or on the field, just giving every snap, every play, just 100% of my effort, and then outside of football, if I'm with my family, just being there 100% and, just trying to strengthen the relationships I have with people I care about. And, and then, there's some difference too. When I go on the football field, there's definitely a switch that, flips in my head where it's like, time to go to work. I'm definitely going to go every play and try to, hit whoever's across me as hard as I can, and just, work my ass off out there. And then, and I definitely, like, outside of football, I definitely like to, like, take a beat and just, gather my thoughts. And I like to go out in nature, go hunting and fishing and stuff like that. So, there's definitely some crossover, but there's definitely two different guys out there too.
Yeah, well, we love to hear that. It's been fun interviewing you, obviously, with the Rams having that Pittsburgh pipeline. We hope that, you end up in, Horns. But, if not, we're going to be fans of you. And, let's keep in touch, man. Good luck with everything.
I really appreciate it.
Yep, have a good one, Shane.
All right, thank you. You too.